How's everyone doing tonight? Notre Dame travels to Duke tomorrow, number 11 Irish versus number 17 Duke. I'm Jeff. This is Mike. It's YoND Raps. And we're going to hopefully get past the game last week, and hopefully the Irish football team do as well. And Notre Dame's 5.5 point favorite. So I guess before we start here, looking at the actual game, we're going to talk about the spread. So, Mike, 5.5. Who do you have?
Notre Dame covers this with ease.
What do you think the score is going to be?
41-17.
So I'm taking the Irish to cover as well. I think it's going to be like 38-20, somewhere in there.
You laughed at me. You're 6 points different.
What's that?
You laughed at me. You're 6 points different.
41-17 just feels, I don't know.
I wanted to go higher.
I do too, obviously, but everything that last weekend was for Notre Dame, like hype-wise and everything, is what Duke's going to have, their version of it. So this is certainly a huge game for them. And I don't know enough about their history to say if they've ever had a game bigger than that at home. But it's been a long time.
But what they don't have is Ohio State's roster.
Agreed, but where's Notre Dame head at? I mean, as far as like mentality, you got to think Duke's on top of the world and Notre Dame is suspect.
The offensive line will be fine, and they'll ride them.
That's what I'm hoping for. I mean, so I did put a little money on it, and that was one of the factors in it. If Notre Dame's able to perform versus Ohio State, you would assume that they're able to do better versus Duke.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm with you. With that said, we have our non-Notre Dame lock of the week. Who are you going with?
I'm really torn on this.
I have two. I'm just interested to see if you have the same ones.
I have three. There's one I'm going to go with. I was feeling Michigan to cover.
Nebraska?
Yeah.
What number do you have it at? 17.5?
Yeah.
I just feel like Nebraska plays them tough more times than not. I don't know that for sure. I just feel that way.
Yeah, it feels like they struggle against them, but
that's not your pick, though.
Nope.
All right, that's not one of the ones I was struggling with.
The other one that caught my eye was Syracuse getting 7 at home
versus Clemson.
Yeah, but I don't trust them.
That also was not one of mine. Go ahead.
There was another one. It was a sucker bet. It was somebody. Oh, it's tonight. It was tonight. It was Oregon State
in Utah,
favored over Utah. I think that game's 6-7-0.
They're up right now. Oregon State's up 7-0.
The game I'm going with is Georgia.
Wait. Before you give me the pick, let's just remind everyone where you're at. So for Notre Dame, you're 5-0 against the spread. Unreal.
It's going to be 6-0. 5.5's a gimme.
For non-ND, your lock of the week, you are 4-1. So go ahead. What's your
freaking Auburn? I wanted to pick against them just to return the favor, but it's Georgia. It's Georgia covering Auburn.
What's that number?
Like 14.5 or something. Check it. Hold on.
So your UGA 14.5. Okay.
Is it? Well, check that number. Whatever it is, I got Georgia.
All right. And to remind everyone where I'm at, so I'm 3-2 with Notre Dame. I've lost the last 2 weeks. Started out 3-0, and my lock of the week that's not Notre Dame, I'm 4-1. So let me tell you, the two games that I was torn between is Washington at Arizona. Washington's minus 19.5. Plus Washington won Frank a game and won you a game, so I figured it's about time for me to get on that. So I was thinking about that. And then, of course, it's been a gravy train so far this year. Penn State's 26.5 at Northwestern.
Yeah.
So I am going to go with Penn State at 26.5 at Northwestern. I think Washington, I don't know. I just feel like Washington in the desert, are they interested? They should dominate them. So those are the games that I'm going with. So Georgia is 14.5. I don't know if you said that or not.
Yeah.
So those are going to be our picks. So hopefully we move up. Frank, of course, I'm going to see if he's going to text me back.
He did. He just did. He's going to lose both these.
Okay, so Frank has he's gonna lose both of these. Frank is picking Duke, getting the 5.5 versus Notre Dame,
He's picking
and
him to pull the upset.
he's picking the money line. I'll give him the 5.5.
Yeah.
I'll give him the 5.5. We'll make it official because he doesn't do money lines. So 5.5. His lock is Colorado to cover versus USC. What is that at? Is that 21.5?
Yeah, something like that.
So
USC's
that
covering that.
you got to think. I mean,
Lincoln Riley will make it a point.
it's 21.5. So good for Frank for getting those picks, and they are ballsy picks. I got to say, I
He's
like,
losing both.
dude. He should definitely put a few hundred down, put Duke money line, and go Colorado getting those points, and he's gonna have himself a Saturday. So
Yeah.
thank God he doesn't gamble. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Frank gambling in football? Some of the L's you take in football
Oh, I
when you're
know.
gambling,
He would
like
break stuff.
yeah, and you're like, and then you think it's just why me? Like it's some vendetta against you that nature has, but that's hilarious. So Notre Dame Duke tomorrow, Mike. What are you concerned about?
Um, Obviously Notre Dame's going to be flat. The question is how flat, and all they got to do, run the football, play action. They have better athletes. Um, Contain Riley Leonard. Don't
Yeah,
let him run for 120 yards on you.
that's my concern. Just keeping him at bay. Um, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, we held Armstrong from NC State. This dude's different. He's a different level than Armstrong. But yeah, Armstrong's mobile, and they did a good job. So that
He
is
can
not.
throw.
Yeah, he can scoot. He can throw. He's smart. I don't think he has any interceptions this year. Also, so I think both quarterbacks are coming in with zero ints. He's having a great year, obviously, and they're dominating everyone. I mean, they really haven't played anyone except for Clemson, but
Yeah,
it's been total domination. Dude, Mike Elko is the man. My God, 9-4 last year, his first year. And now he's 4-0. And the reason why this game is so big for Duke is because they did take care of business versus Clemson at home. But if you watch that game, man, Clemson,
Clemson dominated that
they
game. They couldn't
just
cash in,
and hats off to Duke. That's
and they capitalized.
and they capitalized, and Duke did what they had to do. So I'm
Yeah,
no disrespect to Duke, but at the same time, you saw Clemson make a lot of mistakes that you haven't seen Clemson make in years past, and Duke hasn't done a whole lot since then.
yeah,
But they're taking care of business. So really, what's Notre Dame done? Beat NC State, and I think they're about to blow a lead to Louisville right now. They were up 10-0. It's
right.
tied up. Um, yeah, my main concern was Riley as well. I do want to see Estime get consistent carries. I realize we're going to feed everybody, but I do feel we're showing a pattern of taking him out and letting him out for long periods of time.
Ye- I mean, I don't hate on it. I understand at the end of the game you wanted him last week. It, Everybody ran well last week.
So
Everybody
they did.
runs well behind that offensive line. Everyone looks good.
Yeah, he's the workhorse. He's the best dude, and he
Yeah,
wears defenses out.
yeah,
So I would like to see the receivers now that we have no upperclassmen left. It feels like with Dion out and what's his face Thomas is out.
I mean, it feels like Dion's, what does he have, two, three receptions this year?
I know,
And
but this is
Jaden Thomas, I don't know what happened to him.
I don't either.
He's
This is
been
a
non-existent too.
golden opportunity for Tobias. They're going to be leaning on Mitchell a whole bunch, and then of course the freshmen now, Flores and Greathouse. So
Right.
I think they're going to step up. Obviously, they're freshmen, but I still like their chances athletically versus their competitor. Um, so that'll be interesting to see as well. Is there anything that you want to add that maybe the average guy isn't thinking about tomorrow besides just being flat and running the football? Is there anything else that you want to see Notre Dame break out, try, stick to, don't do?
Don't change. You,
What do you
you,
mean by that?
you don't need to change. You need to clean up mistakes. That's all you need to do. Everything they did against Ohio State, they've done it all year. You run the football, you be physical on both lines of scrimmage, and you don't give up big plays, and you're going to win.
Yeah, I agree. I hope they do still stick with the run tomorrow. I think it's going to open up the passing game, especially with those receivers being out. So there's no telling what you're going to do with the freshmen all over the field. But
I
yeah,
heard going back to my Georgia lock of the week, the thing that sold it for me. I didn't verify that this was true. I just heard it. It's been nearly a full calendar year since Auburn has had 200 passing yards in a game against an FBS opponent.
wow, that's an incredible stat.
Almost a full season.
That's unreal. What other games are you looking at tomorrow? What other games interest you? How about Purdue, Illinois?
It's a pick 'em.
1.5 at home. I
ESPN
don't.
has it at 0 at pick 'em.
Yeah, right now in FanDuel, Purdue's -1.5. I don't understand how. I
And
don't.
it's Illinois.
It's Purdue. They invent ways to lose.
West Virginia is getting who do they got? I gotta root against them. I hope they get killed. Oh, TCU.
Oh, okay.
They're like a big dog.
I have zero faith in West Virginia, and that's in Fort Worth, I think.
Yeah,
I don't think it's up here.
right. And Kentucky, Florida. That'll be an interesting game.
Yeah,
Pillow
but
fight.
Florida owns Kentucky like they do Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's another game. Like every time you think Kentucky's going to turn a corner, Florida just answers it. Same with Tennessee. Like
Right.
they're mirror images of each other. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
I thought for sure that you were going to be talking about that Washington spread, just because you went with them last week. When you
I
said
saw
that,
Georgia and I was like,
and
14 and a half. They're covering it.
why
Auburn's
think
dog
that?
shit.
Yo, I have no faith in Michigan covering tomorrow. I'm not saying they won't win 55-0. That is definitely a real possibility, but I'm leaning towards that game just being tighter than most.
Yeah, I would never put money on it, but it caught my eye because I was like,
They
maybe I'm
should
buying in.
kill them. I mean, if
Yeah,
Michigan's up and jacked, they're gonna wax them. But they've, from what I've seen of Michigan football, they've kind of sleptwalked through every game.
yeah, but this
And
is the
so,
first name they're playing. Like it's
yeah,
still Nebraska. They're going to be up for that, and it's in Lincoln, I think.
yeah, I think it is. Because
Yeah,
was it last year that Nebraska almost beat them
yeah, it was last year.
in Ann Arbor?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was another game, I can't remember who it is. Bowling Green. I forget who. Oh, they're playing Georgia Tech. And
Oh,
I think they're 21.5 point dogs. Bowling Green has been playing better with this backup quarterback that started versus Notre Dame. Like, he is more of a complete quarterback. And I love the Emmanuel kid. When I saw him versus Michigan State, I was like, yo, this kid is slippery. He can't throw as good as you want him to, but give him time, but he's slippery. The kid versus that we played, I forget his name.
yeah, but they don't play defense.
They don't, but they beat someone last week they weren't supposed to beat. They got a W last week. I forget who they were playing. I don't think it was anyone major, but they were dogs. And now they're 21.5 to Georgia Tech.
The
I don't know.
ACC.
That could be a gimme. And I'll tell you another game that's crazy. Pitt 1.5. I think they're 1.5 favorites at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's a snooze fest.
And who do you pick on that? That's another one. There honestly, like, other than the games we discussed, I had the same thoughts. For a brief minute I thought about Michigan, but this is the first week where I was like, this is a layup. Like, I didn't have that this week.
Right.
Every week before I did, even though I took an L, but
Notre Dame's a layup.
I
Five and a
I hope
half. 5.5. Remember last time we went there, they thought they had a chance?
yeah, with Book.
No, I mean Duke.
Yeah, when was that 19 when Notre Dame after they lost to Michigan?
Yeah, and they just shit on them.
They did, but this is a different Duke team. There's no doubt about it. We'll see. I mean, I took them. I told you I did. I placed money in that game. I thought it was a good number. Notre Dame
They
just
have
got to win by a
a
touchdown
massive disadvantage at the line of scrimmage. Massive
on both sides. I think
on both sides.
definitely
Massive.
our O line versus their D line
Yeah.
for sure.
And you
Yeah,
can't. That's hard to overcome. Watch it. Watch them get held to like 12 yards rushing Notre Dame.
Maybe we'll go viral. These
You
two
know,
idiots.
I'll go viral. I'll have a virus.
These two idiots talking all this trash.
Yeah.
I'm not talking trash. Look, I very well we could be meeting for our post game talking about it now. There's no doubt about it. But at
No,
the same time,
that ain't happening.
yeah. I mean, if you had to place money on it, let's be real. You're going with the Irish. You're not going to go with Duke. I can't believe it's 5.5.
Yeah.
I thought it would at least
Or,
be 7.5.
yeah. I mean, I know Vegas isn't tied to the polls, but for us to only drop 2 spots, I thought said a lot. And are we the highest ranked one loss team?
Yeah, we are now. Before there was only I think 4 one-loss teams in, and they were all SEC.
Yeah.
So we are.
And they kept us ahead of Bama, which I never thought would happen.
I didn't either. But if you look at how things have, you know, happened or panned out after some of the other big games this year, it at least follows suit. You know, Notre Dame lost on the last play of the game to a team they were supposed to lose to. They covered the spread, technically.
Yep. But they beat Ole Miss at home.
Right, and old Brian Kelly gets them. I think he's 2.5 point favorites. That game's in Oxford.
He's gonna have. I mean, he's gonna win. Ole Miss's offensive line is a disaster.
Yeah, dude, they got up 10-0 last. Was it 10-0
Yeah,
on Bama? And then they just got manhandled the rest
yeah,
of the way.
yeah.
Manhandled. I mean, they couldn't move the ball at all. They just
No,
got shut down. So I was like, man, everyone clowning Bama. I mean, they're still just lurking, and they have so many opportunities to climb up the rankings because LSU is going to be there,
if
and they
they
just
win out, they'll be there.
absolutely, because they'll have to go through Georgia in the
Yeah.
SEC title game as well. So that's the icing on the cake. When does the A&M hype train start? I forget who they get tomorrow.
Um,
They just beat Auburn.
Congratulations.
No, I know, but you know how
Miami will be forgotten, and they got their doors blown in.
got destroyed.
And their quarterback's out for the year. I heard.
Who's
A&M.
A&M's?
What's his name? Wygand or something?
Dude, they go through so many quarterbacks.
Yeah,
They
not normally
they
because of injury though.
they go through kids though. He was leaving one way or another. There's no doubt about it.
They do
Um,
have somebody tomorrow. I forget who it is.
yeah, I forget who it is too. Is it Florida?
No, they got Kentucky.
Oh, that's right.
Miz-
Yeah, I forget. Oh,
Mizzou, Mizzou at Vandy.
that was the other. I was just gonna say that. So I was thinking about that game. Vanderbilt is horrible.
Horrible. There's going to be like 30 people at that because that stadium's under construction.
Nashville. There would have been 30 people there.
I'm trying to help them out.
Half of them are construction workers too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I really thought about that game because I think Mizzou's going to blow their doors in. It's just I had no faith in it because other than Kansas State, Missouri, yeah, they
Yeah.
pulled the upset versus K State. I get it. You hit that long field goal at the end, but that's it.
Yeah, they suck.
14 though. Vandy's unbelievably bad. I cannot believe how bad they are. I thought Clark Lee was kind of following in the shadows of Mike Elko a little bit because they showed signs of life.
Ever
But
since Franklin left.
Frank Lyon,
Yeah.
Frank Lyon, Murderers Row continues for them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Murderers Row, dude. Uh,
They're
How
a good
many
football
coach,
team.
how many coachless teams can they get this year?
They're a good football team.
Yeah, they are good, but it must be nice to line up for somebody come first week in November.
My
Same with Michigan.
my hot take with Penn State is they'd be better without Aller
I,
and
I,
start the freshman.
yeah, well, you're just why?
Because that Prabula, he's McSorley 2.0, and that's the offense they want to run. They don't want to stand in the pocket passer. It's not what they're comfortable with, and they don't have the receivers for it. And they don't run. They choose not to run.
It's tough to complain about their offense right now.
I mean, they're lining up against no one.
Yeah, I hear you, but they're still taking care of business. Iowa's horrible. I
Horrible.
The only reason they were ranked, and this is nothing against Penn State or anything, because this has happened for Notre Dame. The only reason that they were ranked was for the TV. It's just like those few years where A&M would get blown off the field before they played Bama, but somehow they were 3-2 and ranked until they played
Right.
Bama. So it's the same thing. I just don't get it. Like in Iowa, their offense is just horrid,
Non-existent.
non-existent, and the defense eventually gets gassed. And
Yeah.
that's what happened versus Penn State. Dude, the stat line from that game is amazing. Over
Iowa's
the
offense.
yeah, 74 total yards. The defense was
Yeah.
on the field the entire game. They were lucky it was only 31 nothing. I
Yeah.
was trying to figure out how it was only 10 nothing at half.
Yeah.
Like how is this game 10 nothing? Iowa has been on the field, their D,
Because Penn State
nonstop.
won't run the football.
It's it, I think look, there's a lot of Penn State fans among us, and I hear them say the same thing that I feel. They don't trust Franklin in game day situations.
I mean, Singleton and what's the other kid's name?
Um, Keytron Allen,
Katron Allen? Like, what are you
yeah,
doing?
yeah, they're
You
studs.
hand it off.
They're
You don't
studs.
even need to block for Singleton. Allen
So
might be better than him.
yeah, I don't know. They're two different styles.
Between the tackles, Allen's better,
I don't know. Maybe
I think.
they're good. It's a good question. It's a good problem to have. Try and answering that question in your backfield. So,
Ohio State's deal locked them down. It doesn't matter.
and that's in Columbus.
Yeah,
Does State get Michigan though?
they
No.
could. I don't think they will because Michigan's going to try and bully them, and they don't want that.
Do you know what stinks about that as a Penn State fan? That's going to be a noon game. That's
Yeah,
horrible.
I know. I know.
That's horrible. You're playing Iowa in prime time, but Michigan at noon. All
Yeah.
because of the Notre Dame game last weekend, by the way. That shifted a lot of the schedule. But
That
that's
one,
terrible.
won't Fox choose that?
I don't know. I thought that both Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan Penn State were noon, but I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I think they only get that. Do they get multiple Big Ten night games a year?
Who?
Penn State.
I don't know. Especially with NBC now in it, I don't know how that works.
I guarantee you that's going to be the big noon game.
Yeah, Fox messes it up. Their noon
Yeah.
kickoff. I don't know
Yeah.
why people love this.
I,
They take the best game of the week and put it at noon.
and they also love Klatt and Gus Johnson. These
Gus
are the same people.
Johnson's.
This is what we're talking about. People that like him. Them.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. The over the top fake, just
People put them in the same breath as
Keith
um,
Jackson.
Keith Jackson. And I was never a big Keith Jackson fan, but
He had the voice.
he had the voice, he had the sayings.
Yeah, the vocabulary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gus is just a cartoon.
Yeah, he's terrible. And I
Yeah.
can't feel. I
There's
don't
all
like
these lame Notre Dame fans who celebrate his call, Tyree's kickoff against
Oh, it's
Wisconsin.
terrible.
It's like,
No joke. So I watched one of those like extended highlights of that game, like the next night or the next day, and I had to mute that kickoff.
yeah,
Muted the kickoff, and that's
yeah,
actually where I lost a lot of respect for Klatt. That touchdown that Austin had, where he gained possession before the goal line, stepped over the goal line, and then the Wisconsin DB hit it out. And Klatt's like, no, this shouldn't be a touchdown. I'm like, Joel, he had possession at the
yeah.
two. What's the difference between running in with no one around you and you just dropping the ball in the end zone? It's the same thing. He had possession, took steps, and then let go of the ball in the end zone.
Well, those announcers go all in at what they see and say what they think, and then can't retract it. They stick with their gun.
That's why
Whatever.
we're unedited here at Yo. Nothing's retracted. All this edgy scoop you're getting here. With that said, we're gonna sign off unless there's anything else that you want to add, Mike.
Frank's going
And
0-2 this week.
what's that?
Frank's going 0-2 this week.
Those are interesting picks.
Yeah, I feel like he was pressured.
Watch us lose out and he goes 2-0.
Yeah, I'll be. Yeah, we will go viral then.
If they take an L to Duke.
Yeah,
Honestly, who has Notre Dame clearly has more pressure on him this week. I mean, this. Am I over exaggerating thinking that this is the biggest game for Kelly in his career so far?
Freeman.
Freeman, I'm sorry, Kelly. Kelly lost to Duke, by the way.
um, yeah, you got to win this.
Yeah, it's huge. What
This,
happens if they take an L? I mean, you're staring at 4 L's minimum.
yeah, especially if Louisville wins tonight, because they'll be amped next week.
They're going to be amped regardless, but yeah, I hear you. I mean, as a Notre Dame fan, should we care who wins this game?
We want Louisville.
But it's not the end of the world if NC State wins. At what point's NC State going to be ranked? They'll be 4-1 then.
They should be ranked.
Why should they be ranked?
If they win,
I don't know. There's
one more only losses to Notre Dame.
like 19 through 24 is all SEC teams.
And they're all speed bumps. What's Mississippi State's record? They're bad, aren't they?
Stark Vegas.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, we're
All
going
right,
to put out a video after the game. Go Irish. Mike and I are picking them. That's the lock of the week. Mike is killing it. Like I said, 9-1 on against the spread this year. So hopefully you at least win the Notre Dame game for sure. We better win it. So thanks for checking us out. Go Irish.